Hey, Busy Bees. Today we are back with another story in our book, The Sneetches and Other Stories by Dr. Seuss. Okay, so Monday we talked about the Sneetches, and then Wednesday we talked about the Zacks. So today, and here's our Zacks, and it ended off with them never moving because they didn't want to move west or east, and so the city grew around them, and they still stayed there because they were not budging. That is just crazy to me. So today we are reading about Too Many Daves. Ooh. Did I ever tell you that Mrs. McCabe had 23 sons and she named them all Dave? Well, she did. And that wasn't a smart thing to do. You see, when she wants one and calls out, yoo-hoo, come into the house, Dave, she doesn't get one. All 23 Daves of hers come on the run. This makes things quite difficult at the McCabe's, as you can imagine, with so many Daves. And often she wishes that when they were born, she had named one of them Bodkin Van Horn, and one of them Who's Foos, and one of them Snim, and one of them Hot Shot, and one Sunny Jim, and one of them Shad Rack, and one of them Blinky, and one of them Stuffy, and one of them Stinky, another one Put Put, another one Moonface, another one Marvin O'Gravel Balloon Face, and one of them Ziggy, and one Soggy Muff, one Buffalo Bill, and one Buffalo Buff, and one of them Sneepy, and one Weepy Weed, and one Pears Garters, and one Hare's Tweed, and one of them Sir Michael Carmichael Zut, and one of them Oliver Bolivar Butt, and one of them Zanzibar Buck Buck Make Fate. But she didn't do it, and now it's too late. All right, since that was a great story and it was a little short, we are going to go ahead and read this one as well. What was I scared of? Well, I was walking in the night and I saw nothing scary, for I have never been afraid of anything, not very. Then I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved. Those empty pants, they kind of started jumping. And then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out. I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that, I did not care for. No, sir. After that, a week went by. Then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach. I was starting back through town when those pants raced round a corner, and they almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach, but I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride 'em, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside 'em. And the next night I was fishing for a double trout on Rover River when those pants came rowing toward me. Well, I began to shiver, and by now I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to. I screamed and rode away and lost my hook and line and bait too. Seems like those pants maybe be watching him. I ran and found a brickle bush. I hid myself away. I got brickles in my breeches, but I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night. The next night, too. I'd be there still, no doubt, but I had to do an errand. So the next night I went out. I had to do an errand. I had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them. I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. Then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing that I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I'll bet that you know who. And there I was, caught in the snide, and in that dreadful place. Those spooky empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help. I screamed. I shrieked. I howled. I yowled. I cried. Oh, save me from these pale green pants with nobody inside. That is pretty scary. But then a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. I put my arm around their waist and sat right down beside them. I calmed them down, poor empty pants with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I, and we never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say, hi, hi. And that is the end of our book and the end of our last story. So it turns out that they were scared of one another because they didn't know about each other and they only saw each other what scared each other, right? And once they learned who each other were, then they were perfectly fine. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you'd like to follow along for more adventures, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you on the next one.